What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Another live stream, 2 in 1 day, actually. We were live this morning, too. I'm joined by an OG in the space, Tim Tello. Austin Hilton's going to join us in a little bit. The COO of Pocketful of Quarters, blockchain gaming. We're going to get into it. Tim, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you been?
Good. Can't complain, man. Crazy week in the markets. We came into the week thinking, hey, we got elections. We got some CPI data, but then the FTX situation, man. What are your thoughts on it all?
I think there's good things and bad things to come out of this. I think Sam Fried being out of crypto is probably the best thing for crypto at this point. He's cost millions of people billions of dollars, use their money as his own personal bank account. It's pretty crazy. I hope they make an example out of him. I want blockchain to succeed, and it's guys like this and people who have their own, ulterior motives, trying to be the guy, going out telling people, hey, I'll give you $1 billion to the Democratic Party. I'm going to give you $8 billion, Mr. Musk, to buy Twitter. That was not his money, nor was it for him to be saying, but he did it for his own propaganda, like his own self-image. And it's unfortunate.
It's insane, right? Because he was the darling in Washington too, and everybody thought he was the good guy and he was going to save crypto. And isn't that funny how it works though? I mean, usually it's
it's propaganda, man. Propaganda. He was very good at making promises, and people thought that he had the money to back up those promises. But as soon as you come to collect, that was when the chips hit the table. He didn't have the money. He was borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And it wasn't really, it wasn't good for anyone. It wasn't good for the industry. And he was choking people out. We look at Voyager and what he promised them to save them, right? We look at Celsius. I really think 3 Arrows and all that stuff was directly inflicted by Sam Fried. So, he's done more than just this FTX bomb. I think he's done a lot to really hurt a lot of people.
Does he ever deserve to be back in crypto again?
No, he should be ostracized. He should never be allowed to be near a computer again. And as far as I'm concerned,
I agree. There were a few people had some hot takes, like maybe if he gets his stuff together, he can come back in here. He's only 30. Maybe he'll learn from his mistakes. I don't know, man. There's too much damage.
I think he was out there building his own case for his own self-worth, using people's money for his own pocketbook, and it's implorable. I think, for me, when you're in a CEO of a company and you cheat people out of millions of dollars, you're no longer allowed to be an executive anymore, right? And I believe for me, if you're running a blockchain company and you've gone out and you've screwed over millions of people, you shouldn't be allowed to be anywhere near the blockchain, crypto. I really hope people come after him. And I hope they make an example of it because people deserve better.
I agree 100%. Thanks to everybody in the chat too. Print painting, we're talking about Sam Bankman-Fried. So if you're just tuning in, a lot of news this week happened with that and FTX.
Another Quan dark hole.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you my Quan story? Because we were really close to Terra Luna back in the day, and he was explaining to me Anchor Protocol before it was actually released. And so POQ is going to go onto the Terra chain, and he's like, oh yeah, and you can, all those developers that are holding these tokens, we can just convert them into Anchor, and they'll get 20% APRs on their money. I was like, wait, what? I was like, rewind what you just said. Tell me that again. He was like, yeah, it's great, right? He's like, they can take all their money, they can just stake it into Anchor, and they'll make 20%. I was like, oh, every gaming company ever is trying to figure out tax loops, right? If they can just leave it on paper and take loans against it, they'll do that. Now, who's paying for this 20%? Because you're talking about a $200 billion industry. And He goes, oh, it just works because of this. It's like, it doesn't work. That's a Ponzi scheme. And he goes,
where's this money coming from?
And Doe's answer was, you don't get it. I was like, no, I get it. You don't get it. Where's the money coming from? You're talking about lots of money. 20% of 200 billion is a lot. And I was like, who's paying for that? And he goes, you don't get it. He's like, I turned to Mike, our CEO. I was like, hey, we can't do this.
It's insane. I mean, I remember the Anchor, the APR there. I mean, similarly, I mean, those staking rewards you were getting there for a while on crypto.com were outrageous. I don't know. Did you see some of those? And they've dialed that back, but
they've all been pretty great. Well, I mean, they had that credit card thing, right? When if you if you stake so much, you would get like this crazy credit card incentives, and they're like, basically it's immediately eradicated all that when people were like, okay, well, I got this big pile of money, I can just drop that in there, like it's all good. It's like
insane. You just wonder now. I mean, you're seeing a lot of centralized exchanges, and we're gonna roll into blockchain gaming. Everybody here, I know the thumbnail says blockchain gaming. We're getting there. Just a lot of stuff happening in crypto. So, want to cover some of that, and then we're gonna kind of roll into blockchain gaming because Tim, I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge. Everybody who's new, give Tim a follow on Twitter as well. I mean, this guy's been around the space for a long time. I've learned a ton just talking to him for a short time. So definitely somebody you want to follow. But one of the things we're seeing now is kind of this transparency move, right? With some of the exchanges, basically giving you a peek behind the curtain and showing, the books, basically. Do you think this is a good move?
I mean, I think anything that gives investors more information is always a good move. I worry a little bit about, does that move us from securities to assets and assets to securities? Because that's basically how the SEC says this is how you operate when you're going on the NASDAQ, right? Or when you're going to IPO. And if we're going to start looking at how we exchange these tokens similarly to how we exchange stock, that's going to be a problem, and we need to be very, very careful. The more information you have, the better, I think. But I also want to be a little bit mindful of a security versus an asset. Now, we do have an SEC no action letter. We're 100% vetted by the SEC. We're like one of the few companies ever to have that. We were the first one to have it. I think there's 2 others now that have gotten one based on ours. But I would be very, very. I would just be a little bit worrisome if people were to do that and the SEC was able to use that as a classification of an asset or a security.
How did that go down? Getting the first ever no action letter. I mean,
it was daunting, man. Daunting.
What was that like?
It was terrible. I didn't have as much involvement from our side of it as Mike did, our CEO. Mike literally would pound his head. He would come back. He'd ask me questions, things that I thought. But really, Lewis Cohen, our attorney, is probably one of the foremost best lawyers when it comes to anything blockchain related. And he works directly with the SEC and has for a long time. So, by working directly with them, instead of saying, hey, this is the Wild West, and we're going to do this, and you can tell us later if we were wrong, we went to them and said, hey, what can we do that's right? And it took about 2 years to really build that model that they felt was the right model. That model has allowed us, and the SEC no action letter has allowed us to get into Apple. It's allowed us to get into Google. We're the only blockchain gaming company on Steam. We're on Epic. We have the only Unity partnership in the world. We have the only credit card processing for all of crypto, not just blockchain games, all of crypto. Those are some big things that we were able to accomplish because we went grassroots instead of speculation.
100%. And full disclosure, guys, I just want to let everybody know because this is important. I am an advisor / brand ambassador with POQ, and this is obviously just one of the many reasons why I decided to help them out and grow the brand because of what they've done in a short amount of time. Tim, kind of go a little bit deeper into the platform itself, how long it's been around, active users, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we started in 2018. Really the beginning was I, from the gaming industry, saw a need for blockchain from Fortnite. I was investing already. I was like, okay, now that Fortnite's out, there's a free-to-play gaming. I think there could be a token on these games. The world in video games is a monkey see, monkey do world. And the United States has been console, but the rest of the world is mobile. And so it was ready for mobile, but it wasn't ready for the U.S. And the rest of the world kind of follows the U.S. in these things. So I was just looking to see if anyone else had done it. And Mike and his son George had the idea before me, and they were going out and they got a little bit viral. They got on Market Watch and Business Insider, And his problem was, directly also related to Fortnite. He was a Madden player. His friends were playing Fortnite. He wanted to play Fortnite, but he couldn't take his tokens from one game to the next. And, they came together talking about blockchain. Mike is a tech investor and a guy who went to school with Amin Sire and Brad Garlinghouse from XRP. He's pretty well connected. And then so we started building this out. They had the idea. I was like, I think I can help you. I think this is the right idea. Started building it out. We ended up hiring Janti Kunani, the founder of Polygon. He came and worked for us. He built out Polygon out of necessity for what we were doing. There was 99-cent Ethereum gas fees back then, which I know is minute compared to today. But at the time, we were like, no one's going to pay 99 cents for gas fees and 99 cents for their in-game token. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so, we were able to figure that out. He went and created Matic Polygon. And then COVID happened, and we kind of pivoted a little bit to building a user acquisition model and the grassroots. So we went legal. We got the patent for our blockchain and custodial wallet. In video games, we got the SEC no action letter. We built an esports platform that now has 5,000 streamers. And we just started working with people around the world to play games that we liked and giving away our in-app currency. And we got to a point where we had like 2 million registered users, and we had, we were like the biggest blockchain gaming company out there, but no one knew who we were because, we weren't doing anything with speculation. We weren't listing cryptocurrencies. And so the Web3 world had no idea. And, we're going to these events, we're talking to people, we're like, hey, we don't believe that this is the way that gaming is going to be in the future. Like, we think this is what it's going to be. We come from games. Our team is crazy. Like, we have over a couple hundred years in games, couple like $20 billion titles, including like Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, Need for Speed, all the EA Sports games. They're all under our belts. Tony Hawk, they're all we were all in all those games, and so we just kept building. We kept building for what gaming needed, and everyone else has been doing NFT speculation and doing token and play to earn. Everyone that told us we were wrong, they've all kind of gone away. And, we're here to stay.
That's great stuff. And you guys, you're going to want to stick around to the end too, because Tim, I hope you know this too, but we got some special information to share later, right? We got some big news. Taylor asked me to share it in the TG. I don't know if you saw
that. Maybe. I think
okay. So. I hope we can actually break it. I'll double check with you before.
I think I know what you're talking about, and we're definitely good to talk about it.
Okay. All right, cool. We'll save that toward the end. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Thanks everybody in the chat too. I see everybody's comments out there. Appreciate you guys stopping in this afternoon. But Tim, you guys have 2 tokens too. So kind of walk us through which token does what, why they're different, and why they're both there in the ecosystem.
It's honestly, there's more than 2 tokens. So the first token is quarters, and that's our in-app currency for video games. But those are the games that are on our own personal network. And then there's another token called Q2s, and that's our governance DAO. It's all about giving power back to the developers and players who want to see games made the right way. Think about like back in the 80s, and really what POCKETFUL Quarters is like bringing games back to when they were fun, right? We weren't building games to monetize. We were building games because they were fun and people wanted to play them. And, the world that we see is a world that is not as advantageous to young developers, young players, and it's very hard to get your own foothold into this industry. By creating a token similar to the Roblox model, you're able to magnify the marketing of the game, cross-market promotion, in-app retention, things like that. And so the Players DAO is the ability for players and developers alike to come together to grant funding to games that they think are going to be great, to have access to influencers they're going to think are great. They'll be able to directly help with the marketing incentives, so people can come in and ask for different proposals, and the players and developers that are members are able to do that. And then for every quarter that's sold, 15% of that revenue goes to buy and burn Q2, so they're directly incentivized by the success of the games that they grant.
That's awesome. Austin, what's up, man? Austin just joined us down there.
What's up, Tim? How are you, brother?
Hi, buddy.
Good, man. Good. Sorry for being late. Had a family thing. Apologize. So here I am. So
Tim, you mentioned something. My bad, brother. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you didn't miss nothing.
Yeah, we're talking shop, man. We talked about Sam Bankman-Fried a little bit too, Austin, too. So we
started off. Yeah,
the whole FTX. I wanted to get Tim's opinions on all of that. So if you guys are just popping in, make sure you guys dial this thing back later and check that out, because Tim had some interesting insights there. Tim, you mentioned something earlier. This kind of this freemium model, if you will, with with Fortnite. Is it forever changed? I mean, is it forever going to be like that? And how did that impact now the future of blockchain gaming? You kind of hinted on it a little bit, but
yeah. So, well, you got to understand the roadmap that we've gone through to get to where we are in video games, right? We went from the back in the day Atari and arcade machines, to going forward to the premium style games that I was used to as a kid. You paid $24.99, you got a Sega cartridge, and you took it home and you played it, right? And you played until you couldn't play. And then we went a little bit forward, and Apple introduced free-to-play gaming as a really new way. And it was kind of funny because no one wanted to jump into free-to-play gaming at first. They're like, why would I give away a game I spent millions of dollars to make for free? And it was because they realized that user acquisition actually costs more than the millions of dollars of development. And so if you were able to monetize in-game, you would actually make more money than you would have if you actually had to go out and create the user acquisition models to get those games. And even so much that they kept doing them to the point where you were still marketing the game in the beginning because you had to get faces and players to come and find it, and then you would monetize them. And then we moved to this, like what Mike and I call mega apps. And it's because of walls. Walls are really bad for video games. Servers and walls and what games are able to do are functionally controlled by what parameters they're within. And when you're playing a video game, to go from one game to the next, there's a wall there. You can't separate the two. And in Roblox and Fortnite created these mega apps where there is a wall, but the walls are much wider. Think of it like from going to a gas station to a Walmart, right? Or to a mall. And you're able to go in there and there's more places to shop, but at the end of the day, you can only go so far, right? But the world that we live in as an everyday, from us shopping, we don't operate on gift cards. We operate on Visa credit cards and MasterCards, and they're accepted everywhere. And that's because there are no walls. There's nothing holding us back from doing what we want to do. And blockchain is the first thing ever to allow that to happen in video games. And so we're kicking down walls. Now, Fortnite and Roblox alone make $8 billion of the $200 billion industry. That's just two companies make that much of the entire industry. Now, if you gave the same dynamics to EA, the same dynamics to Zynga, and you created an EA token, a Zynga token, an Ubisoft token, and they control their own economies, that's game changing. Now you're able to open up walls that are connected to games and publishers rather than to confinement to one game or one item or one thing.
Will they do that, Tim? Are they going to do that?
They're definitely doing it now. And what's really crazy is Animoca's CEO the other day posted on Twitter. He said, we need to stop thinking of video games like games. We need to start thinking of them like micro economies in small countries. I've been saying that for 5 years. We need to stop looking at this as small. And look at European Union, right? When the European Union came together and created one currency for the entire union, their GDP shot up to the same size as the United States. And it's because they were able to do that consolidation, to remove those walls. People were more likely to travel to the European Union than they were to Great Britain, than they were to China, than they were to Asia. And it's because one currency was accepted everywhere.
So, Tim, do you see that happening from a major publisher like an EA or Ubisoft inside of their own world yet? Like Ubisoft will make a token for their ecosystem?
I think that's the next step. I think we'll see, the other day I was on the phone with Polygon, and they're like, why wouldn't we just create a Steam killer? Why wouldn't we just cheat the system using blockchain and just supersede Steam? I was like, well, first off, people have tried that, right? But the problem with that is there's nothing broken about Steam. Steam's not broke. And Epic Games, who has more money than I have, right? More money than you have, more money than we have, has gone and tried to do that. They have the Epic Store. They have the Unreal Engine. They cannot compete with Steam. Why? Because Steam's not broken. Now, Fortnite is dying, and we have to understand they're losing player base by the day. But if you were to take V-Bucks and you were to put them on the blockchain using our system, and then you were to say everyone that comes onto the Epic Store, you can use V-Bucks in your game. No problem. Here it is. The user acquisition model for that to convert, and then in the smart contract, we subsidize the revenue from every single developer. Let's say 15-20% goes back to Epic for allowing them to use that token. They would destroy Steam. It wouldn't even be close. And the retention on the Epic Store and then the Unreal Engine and Fortnite would be so invigorated that they would literally have a dynasty again. It would track for years to come.
Tim, how far are we away from like blockchain gaming being a huge sector within
we're here. It's happening. Yeah, people I'm connected to every developer, every CEO. I know, I've been in the industry for 10 years. A lot of my team has been in the industry longer than I have. We just signed Keith Monroe, who is the global president of marketing for EA for 14 years, to come over as our CMO. We have guys like Chris, who was the head of Nexon, THQ, DreamWorks, creator of Medal of Honor. We have guys like Mark Kaplan, who was at Sony for 25 years, head of consumer products licensing. He did all the Tony Hawk games. He did and everyone that we know is building on blocks. They're figuring this out, right? They're trying to understand what's happening. How do they use it? But what we do need to understand is speculation is not going to be in the future of blockchain gaming. It's just not. No one wants, and no publishers or developers are going to allow for you to cash out just yet. Those are fantasy land dreams, right? They're not going to kind of do here's your money, give it back. That's just not going to happen. At least not now. It's a fallacy. But we have to move forward in thinking of what can be, advantageous for both developers and players. And a model like ours, where we remove tariffs, where we remove all the breakage, and we create an economy, we like to call it the world's greatest arcade. When we create that economy, that's game changing. And we're gonna see this metaverse. I don't think the metaverse is like this VR, post-apocalyptic, whatever you want to look at it. The Mark Zuckerberg version of the metaverse. I don't think that's what it is. To me, the metaverse is the connection. It's the tie of one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. We live in a metaverse. We live in the Visa metaverse. Now we're moving into the next metaverse. We're moving into the gaming metaverse, the online metaverse, where all things are intertied. And we're kind of there now with Web 2, right? Web 2, we have a bunch of servers that when you type into the domain, it goes out, it grabs a little bit of information, it pulls it back, and it says, here it is. This is what you were looking for. Now, with the blockchain, it's going to be like that. So it's going to be like the sushi carousel that you go to and you just grab what you want as it's passing by. It's going to be that much more automated.
That's fascinating to think of it like that. Austin, you have a question? I want to think about that for a minute.
Well, I apologize. I've got dogs, construction. I got a lot of stuff going on here. That's why I keep muting myself. So Tim gets that with, houses and renovation and all this stuff. But so Tim, I want to go back to your Fortnite Epic Store scenario when you kind of were talking about the fact that the customer's acquisition model. And so do you envision an event, Tim, that's going to have to happen before you get the big publishers to really kind of go all in, where all your V-Bucks that you spend in Fortnite, now you can actually take them up to the Epic Store level and you can use them, not cash out, but you can use them in our other games. Is that a kind of a cataclysmic event that has to happen in gaming, not really blockchain, but traditional gaming, for that to be
kind of
accepted, or what?
Yeah, kind of. So like I was saying earlier, the video game world is a monkey see, monkey do industry. No one went to free to play until someone jumped over the line and did it first. And then they made a bunch of money, so everyone else did it. And then no one was building free to play console games until Fortnite did it. Now Call of Duty's free, right? All these other games are free. And then nobody was looking at any ways of doing mega apps before Roblox did it. And then once they did it and they proved it, they were all trying to figure out how do we create this? And Fortnite was the first one to kind of fall in line. It's a monkey see, monkey do industry. Now, with that also being said, we could even go even deeper than that and say, okay, no one built a battle royale until it was done by some random guy on H1Z1. Then it became, Ready Player, or not Ready Player One. Sorry, it became PUBG. PUBG was then copied by Fortnite, which was copied by Valorant, which was copied by freaking everybody. And then it's a monkey see, monkey do industry. And no matter what we're doing, it's when one person has success, everyone else will follow. And so, we're working with a bunch of major publishers, a bunch of major games with millions of players that we haven't yet announced or launched. And it's only going to take one of those games to have that cataclysmic moment. Then everyone else jumps in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like what you said. I mean, I think I love the analogy of Fortnite. Again, I've lived it with my son. He's playing it. He's literally playing it right now. Yeah. But we were coming home, Tim, and he was like, he's kind of bored with Call of Duty.
Bonza is wrong. It wasn't PUBG that was first. It was H1Z1, and it was my friend Mike Green who actually built that, and then got acquired by Bluehole, which became PUBG, and then Fortnite copied it, and then Bluehole ended up trying to sue Fortnite for it. But I did say that, Bonza. I got you, homie.
I think what I'm walking away from with this, Tim, is this analogy of those big publishers. They'll see the value from a customer's acquisition standpoint. I think that's really, for me, what it comes down to. And to your point, monkey see, monkey do, right? And I think that's it.
That's it. One cataclysmic moment is what transfers us from today to the future. We're one step away from the future at all times, right? And so we're always moving into the future, and it's going to be one moment. The one moment decides the rest of history.
So, Tim, another question. And I don't know if you talked about this earlier, Zach. I mean, I know you're heavy. I know, but you're so unique, Tim, in that you have, obviously the gaming background, but I know you have a very strong crypto background. And so, if you look into 2023, do you see 23 being truly the revolutionary of blockchain gaming, and that being one of the biggest sectors in 23, as far as like, if you look at sectors of, like NFTs and, so forth and so on, right? What's your thoughts there?
We got to look at what's happening around the world rather than what's happening just in crypto gaming. But let's start with crypto gaming a little bit. All the money that I know is being invested in blockchain right now is being invested into blockchain gaming. Nothing's going really into DeFi. Nothing's going into NFTs. It's going into blockchain gaming. And what it's really going into in blockchain gaming is picks and shovels. Who's building the tools to aggregate everyone else from Web 2 to Web 3? And POQ is really what that is all about, right? Or functionality. We're building the ease of access to the blockchain. Now, 2023, we're moving into a presidential running year, right? He has to get reelected in 2024. The economy's down. He's going to start writing stimulus checks. Last time we had stimulus checks, crypto shot through the moon, right? Last time, these things are going to happen no matter what we do or we don't do. So he's going to have to start pumping money into the economy to try to hope to get a second term. And if he doesn't, it's kind of band-aiding the economy because it's not going to fix it. But it's either he has 4 more years and he's out anyways, or it's the next guy's problem, right? And then the second part of this is there's $400 billion of dry powder in the investment world right now that has to be deployed. So LPs have a timestamp on how long you can hold their money in your fund before you have to deploy it. And there's over $400 billion being sitting there. So we're going to see a record-setting year in 2023 when it comes to startup, VC funding, blockchain funding, game funding. Like, it's going to be it's going to be big, more money than I've ever seen. And so we're going to watch that unfold. I'm predicting a 2023 bull run like we've never seen. I think this is the year that we've been talking about for the last 2 years. Like, oh, Bitcoin's going to hit 100. I think it's going to hit 100. I think Ethereum's going to flip Bitcoin. I think some crazy stuff is coming 2023, and it's all based on the political climate, the macro climate, the everything that's happening is all happening at once. And we're kind of clearing out the dead brush with the Sam Freeds of the world and getting past that, and it's time to plant seeds. And those seeds are going to be big seeds.
Wow. All right.
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to run through a brick wall after that. Let's go.
Yeah.
You're over there rubbing your hands together, man. I saw you.
My guy Zay in the chat says Gala has major competition. I see. I would say so, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've sat on the same panel with the president of Gala Games, having conversations. He's a nice guy, but I don't think gaming is speculative. Like I said, they're very much focused on speculation. I just don't see gaming being that way. From someone that comes from the industry and someone that all their friends are in the industry, like I don't think that's going to be where we're going. We need to create tools. We need to create, value for players. When we create value for players, we'll be able to do so much more with that, and then gaming gets so much better. For me, I think what we're doing, and we work with like every chain out there, right? I think there's 17 chains that we work with, and we work with every NFT stuff. We work with Filecoin, with IPFS and digital rights management systems. Like, there's so many things that are going to be happening, and we'll see it happen. But I think the best uses of anything are the ones that you don't know that they're there, right? How the internet works, you don't really care. You just go online, right? When blockchain is just there and working, that's when we're going to see a lot of value.
Tim Phillips asking, where do you invest in POQ? I know there's a couple things to hit on here in terms of like U.S. investors, and you kind of just hit on it again. It's like we're super early to this. You guys aren't really that concerned right now about.
The only reason our token is only reason our token is listed is for us to start seeding with a couple of influencers that we're working with, a couple of developer partners. It's not really, we're not actively promoting it. We're not, it's more of just to help build out the volume with certain people. And it's not actively being traded anywhere for any U.S. investors. It's just, we're not concerned about building the DAO. We're more concerned right now about building the infrastructure, the tooling, and getting the games on board. And then we're going to shift into 2023 after a major raise that we're working on. That would then push us to go.
Tim? Oh, we lost Tim.
Yeah, we lost. Can you still hear me, Austin?
I can. Yes.
Okay.
Tim, you're back.
Maybe.
Whoop.
Tim, you there? Froze up on us a little bit.
Tim?
Oh, he froze up on us. Tim, maybe back out and come back in. There we go. I think he'll pop back in. But I think, I think I can finish kind of what Tim was saying. Their focus right now, Austin, is really growing the brand, right? I mean, and that's what we've gathered. In talking to Tim, and when the timing's right, it will be available in the U.S. and they're just not there yet. They're focused on building the infrastructure, and to his point, they're doing it different. It's not speculative, and they're showing you that by not saying, "Hey, go buy this token right now." It's not about that right now. It's about growing the brand.
Yeah, I mean, this one was a unique scenario when we started to become brand ambassadors for POQ, and we were like, they were like, we want to build value for the end users, for the gaming community, and I think so. What Tim was saying, just to clarify, is that they're finishing up some raises, some VC funding, and then they're gonna, I think in the beginning of the year, they're gonna really make it available and start pushing forward with, trying to, from the investment standpoint. So
yeah, so the token we were looking at here, guys, this is the Q2 token. This is the speculative token that we had up. Quarters
that's
is
the DAO token. Yeah,
correct. And that's this is not the in-game. Oh, Tim's back here. What's up, brother?
You better?
Oh, maybe.
Ah.
Oh, there. All right.
You keep freezing, brother. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like you're there for a minute and then it freezes back up. Let's see.
Tim? Obviously,
What's
we're having
happening?
some tech issues.
Okay, I think we might be back. Tim, you still there?
No, he's gone. He's breaking.
Yeah, it's breaking up on us. Tim, maybe we could. How do we want to do this? Austin, you want to like get a phone call with him, and like we could just put it up to the. We could do that. Want to call him on Telegram maybe or something?
Tell me that you keep moving. He moves, but then he gets locked up, right?
Yeah. Zay says, "Okay, this seems to be good. I'm assuming it's on ETH."
No, it's on BNB.
Actually on BNB
Zach,
right now.
Zach, since you're control the audio, why don't you try to call him on Telegram?
Can you do that? Here, let's try that.
Yeah.
Here, wait. Let's
try to call him on Telegram.
Here we go. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Close Telegram, Zach.
Wait a minute. Let's see if it's back.
He is. He's back. I think he's moving.
Oh. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go.
Tim, you good? Now we got no audio. Can't hear you.
Tim, I think you're actually. I'm
unmuted now.
There you go.
We're good. I don't know what's happening. I think my office had like a surge of like Wi-Fi and internet issues. Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah. Someone just messaged me. The office internet's cutting in and out. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So we finished that for you, Tim. Kind of we're talking about the DAO token. We finished that for you, so we're good.
Cool. Yeah. So we're definitely going to be pushing that, and we're going to be growing that. But right now, we're signed with GSR, which is the largest market maker in the world, and we're not on any of the exchanges they represent, like Binance and all the big guys. And the reason for that is because we're not yet ready to push to the mainstream on that. We're really looking to build out the ecosystem first. We've always had a player first mentality. We've always had a streamer mentality, a developer's mentality. And, we've always been kind of a anti-speculation. So what's the point of having a token out there other than to cultivate developers and influencers and the people that we need to cultivate if there's nothing to really vote on or to have access to a DAO for, right? And so, it's not really ready yet for the masses because we need to build the entire ecosystem for them and then let them vote on it.
Yep.
100%. Jeff's got a good one here, Tim. Crypto noob here. I grew up with Atari, Nintendo. How do I play games on a blockchain? Mansplain it to a Gen Xer, or as I like to call it, Gen X plane. I like it. Thanks, Jeff, for popping in, man.
I think what we do and how we build it, you won't even need to know how to use blockchain for a video game. You'll log in with whatever email or however you log into any game that you play now. So if you have an EA account, you log in with EA. If you have a Microsoft account, you log in with Microsoft. We have a simple OAuth that uses Web2 logins, and our wallet's custodial. We handle everything for you. So, you actually have no idea you're using blockchain. You just get the benefits of moving from one game to the next and selling your items in our NFT marketplaces that we insert into video games and have full access to all the games that you love and all the games you've never heard of that you want to play that you just don't know about.
That's the key, right? Making it simple for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I think on the surface, I think to Jeff's point, it sounds like, oh man, it's going to be this big learning curve. I'm going to have to do something different, something that's, that's foreign to me. But in reality, it's going to just be integrated into an easy playable.
But here's my comment on this, Tim. And now that I've talked to you good 3 or 4 times, second live stream been with you, and hear you kind of run through your lineage and how you came to be here. I mean, you and the rest of your executive organization, I think, are the perfect people to have built POQ because you have that. First, you have that gamer streamer mentality, and you also have the history of everything that's going on, and that's what I think has really been kind of cool is that you're approaching it completely different because you're acutely aware of the Atari and those days and how the evolution is, and ultimately trying to deliver value to, to the players that'll drive value for everything else in the ecosystem,
Yeah, I think it comes from our more so from our understanding of gaming, right? And what we do from a gaming perspective. I think a lot of people in the blockchain gaming world, very few of them are gaming native, like very, very few. And I'm OG in blockchain, but I'm OG in games, and we talk about Atari and those guys. Nolan Bushnell, I've worked with him over the years a few times. We work with his son's doing crypto stuff now, and they're good guys, but like they're not blockchain native, so they're trying to do it from a gaming perspective. And then you got guys at like Mythical and those guys, and they're kind of coming at it from more of a blockchain side. And we're kind of merging the two, right? We're right in the middle. So we got guys that are crypto native, we got guys that are gaming native. I think Mike's pedigree is pretty crazy. The guy's literally trained by the same teacher at Princeton that was with Amin Sire, that was with Brad Garlinghouse. That literally, like, to have the same tutelage as those guys at the same time, right, in the 90s, and then go on to find guys like James Kunani, who creates Polygon. That's crazy. Like 3 of the top tokens, XRP, Avalanche, Polygon, are all directly related to one moment in time. And then for us, and on the gaming side, we've been building video games and selling studios and selling games for a very, very long time, and so we're able to understand this from a different perspective.
As I said, man.
David wants to know what GSR stands for. There might be a few others out there wondering as well.
Actually, I don't know what it stands for. GSR is a market maker. So what they do is they provide liquidity, and they basically handle all the trading on the market. So like they're also the market maker for like XRP. They're the market maker for I think for BNB, for a few others. When you type in GSR market makers, it doesn't tell you what it stands for. I honestly, I don't know. That's a good question. But they are the largest market maker in the world, and I have no idea what it stands for. I'm going to have to message their team, like, what does GSR mean?
No, I think that's David really wanted to kind of know what it does. So I think that answered that.
Yeah. So what a lot of people don't realize is on the back end of trading, there's big investment banking companies and banks and people that handle the liquidity, and they're constantly buying and selling to handle the market for companies.
Cool. No doubt. Philip says, I like Project Quantum. A lot of people love Gala too. Project Quantum, have you heard of this one?
No, I don't think so. I'd have to probably look more into it.
It looks pretty sweet. I mean, I'm not a huge game with the graphics though. I mean, they look pretty sweet. It's on the BNB side, but it's not an ecosystem play. I mean, this is, again, guys, here, let me pull this up so you guys know kind of what's going on with POQ. So, I mean, 2 million users across the esports platform and quarters integrated games already, 5,000 streamers, first and only compliant game token on the blockchain. Okay, POQ holds the patent for the use of blockchain tech in games itself. So this is something totally different that I think, when Austin and I first talked with him, it's like, man, it's a pleasure to meet you kind of thing, right? And just knowing Tim and all of his connections, he's kind of alluded to some of those here. This is one to keep your eye on for the long term. This is not, in Tim's words, a speculative play. They've got an existing model here that they're just bringing into blockchain, right, Tim?
Yeah, and I think for us, we've definitely kind of, you guys talk about Quantum and you talk about Gala and these guys, they haven't really made that shot into true games yet. We are Unity's partner for video games. Unity's 80% of all video games are built in Unity, and we work directly with all of Unity, their whole team, all the way up to like JR and those guys. Like we're pretty well connected to those guys. Keith, our CMO, worked with them all at EA. I've known the guy who got us into the VSP program for over a decade. We've been very, very good about that. And then, we're also working with like Steve Allison and team over at Unreal to get an Unreal Engine. And so, we've been very fortunate. I've known Cliffy B for a long time, the creator of Unreal. So we're very well connected there. We're not coming at this from speculation, like you said. We're coming at this from a functionality point. What does blockchain do to make games better? So all these guys that are building their own games, we don't build games. We take games and we make them operable on blockchain. So I think that's the biggest difference. So we work with Immutable X. We work with Mythical. We help those guys integrate onto their chain. We don't build video games.
Good stuff. Yeah, Philip said they are building a system for other Unreal 5 engine games to use integrate blockchain payments. That's good. Their game is just for the example of what their tool does. Okay. I mean, I think, Tim, wouldn't you say, I mean, a lot of these companies that are going to do this, isn't this good for the marketplace, the competition? I know you guys want to be the winner, of course, but.
Well, I mean, every time we've ever had a technological advancement in human history, it's come from war, right? Competition breeds technology's growth. And so from other people building, we get to see like new ideas, new perspectives. I think democratizing the world is what crypto is all about, right? It's not about the control of 3, 4, 5 that are on the website or on Web 2 today, like the Googles, the Amazon. It's not about that. It's about democratization. It's about understanding how we can make things better, how those things could be spread across ecosystems and not just macro environments. So I think competition breeds for new technological advancements.
100%. I want to open it up for questions, everybody out there. We've got about 15-ish minutes or so left here with Tim. And so I want to open it up. Any questions you have about blockchain gaming, esports, really crypto in general, because
you can ask me anything. I'm pretty well versed in most things, crypto, gaming,
100%.
Influencer marketing. I know I'm pretty well good at all those things.
Yeah. So launch all your questions out there in chat. And if you guys haven't hit that like button, do that for us too. Totally free to do. Helps us out significantly. Austin, what do you got, man? You've been quiet.
Yeah.
You've been quiet over there, man.
I've asked a couple of good questions, man. I have, it's usually my nap time. I'm kidding. No.
It is. No, it's too late for that, right?
Tim, honestly, my brain's about dead. It's been one of those days, man. I mean, so I really.
Oscar's in the house. My bad. Cool. Oscar's in the house. What's up, Oscar?
Oscar's good stuff. I want the questions I asked you earlier, Tim, were really kind of, for me, it's about what y'all are doing. You're connected. We've talked about that, but I'm interested in that watershed event, and you really clarified that. That catalyst that changes it. That's really what I wanted to get at. So
yeah, I could tell you that they're coming, but I just can't tell you when and with who. And there's so many secrets that are happening over here that are exciting. But I know I get in so much trouble if I said it, and I'm almost certain that I'm almost certain that people are watching and they'll be like, Tim, as soon as I walk out, Tim, you can't say that. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. No.
I'll get in so much trouble.
Yeah, you know me, man. I wouldn't put you on that like that. It's just it's interesting because again, you're at this very unique crossroads. You're at the gaming crossroads. You're at the block, the blockchain crossroads, and all of it's they're intersected. And again, for me, Zach, for Tim, it was interesting to hear. If you look into 23, and because we've heard it, Tim, obviously from other quarters, other sectors, is that, and we're hearing very similar, Zach, right? That gaming for 23 is going to be massive. That's kind of the next big wave. We had NFTs and, all that transpired in 21 and into 22, et cetera. So here's a question. Why? So, all right, here we go. Just got this one. There you go. Last good thought I have for the day, Tim. So if you look at, you said earlier that you think 23 is going to be a fantastic year, bull run, et cetera. If you take away kind of the macro event of inflation, and that's going to continue to be kind of a backdrop, why do you think 23 is going to be so big? Is it that deployable capital, that $400 billion number you talked about? And that's one part of it. But what if you said it's because of, give me the three reasons you think it is, or the 2 or 5 or whatever it is. Why is 23 going to be so big for crypto?
Well, okay. So the first thing, like I alluded to, was the political landscape, right? Yep. So, Biden's going into a polling year. He has to rerun, right? So he's going to go out and he's going to start campaigning for his election in 2024. In order for him to get his approval rating up, he's going to have to fix the economy. And the only way to fix the economy at this point is to Band-Aid it by creating more money and pushing that money into the environment.
Okay, well, let me stop you there. And you know what I'm probably going to ask you. If he starts cutting those checks again, here we go back into the inflation treadmill. I know you said it's a Band-Aid fix, obviously, right? But keep going. Yeah.
Well, again, Band-Aid fix though, but like either he's going to get reelected and in 4 years it doesn't matter. And this is one of the problems we have in America, or he's not going to get reelected and it's the next guy's problem.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
He's in a win-win situation. So he's definitely going to create that. But the last time we got those stimulus checks, a lot of that money went into crypto, went into the stock market. I think that's going to have a massive influx on buying pressure in the crypto markets. And then we're going to have a ton of money being deployed through these investment funds. A lot of money was held up in when the bear market got bad this year. A lot of money didn't go out. We've had the least amount of money invested in crypto this year than it was, I think it was like a third of what it was last year. But there's only so long those funds can hold the LP's money before they have to deploy it. There's over $400 billion in dried up powder that has to be deployed in 2023. That's going to set records.
Are you saying, Tim, that's money that's earmarked for crypto investment? Is that what you're saying? 400
I'm
billion?
saying it's earmarked for technological investments. So
okay.
VC funding, I would think that a good portion of that is going to go towards Web3.
Yeah, Web3. Web3. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's gonna push a lot of value, a lot of buyer pressure. And then we're also getting to this point where we're kind of weeding out what's not relative and what's kind of been, not in focus for Web3, like, all this speculative stuff that wasn't actual projects, but, I guess we're weeding out the fakes and we're keeping the builders, right? Yeah. And so I think that's another big value. So I think those are my big three, the economic climate, the political climate, and the removal of all the fakes. We burnt a lot of them out in this winter.
Interesting.
So Zay's got a question down here. Oh, go ahead, Austin. My bad, brother.
No, you just always talking over me. I'm kidding. Jack and I do that constantly. We talk over each other.
Well, it's always hard with the lag time because you try to time it up, right? You try to time it up where you try to go right into the but it's hard with the lag time. Zay's got one. So he says, one question, you're not doing games, so you're making the tool to make a payment system for games, right? Kind of, right, Tim? Go ahead.
That's kind of right. What we're doing is we're taking games that are server based. So all their functionality, their monetization is happening on the server, and we're moving it to the blockchain. That's essentially what we do. Now we do have credit card processing and we do help with that, but you can still use Apple, you can still use Google's credit card processing, you can still use Steam's processing. There's a bunch of different things you can do there, but for us, what we're doing is literally we're assisting video game companies on the integration away from servers and onto blockchain, helping them create their own economies and batch games together, basically, like go from one Madden to the next without having to completely start over.
So I wanted to talk about some big news too that was sent over to me. Can I drop it right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, sweet. And then everybody also stay around to the end too, because I'm going to ask Tim for some price predictions too for some top cryptos.
Oh, this is not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Pure guessing. But
I'm pulling the ripcord. I'm leaving. I'm kidding. Okay.
So make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get some more people in for that toward the end. But you're going to want to hear this too. This is specific to POQ. So I got word, Tim, an exciting new project coming out soon called OGM. Tell us more. Tell us more.
So this is one of my own brain children of gods and men. So I'm a huge history buff, and I have been since I was a kid. And it's really based on like Greek mythology. So gods and men is we picked up amazing artist Andrew. We haven't really started promoting it yet, but we started building this project, and it's an NFT gaming collection that we're doing. And basically, think of it like Yu-Gi-Oh meets Pokemon meets Zed Run, essentially. At least for the first part, until we start to cultivate a lot of interest. But basically, you start out as a human, and you can breed with gods and create demigods. You can create monsters. You can create all these different things. You can train, you can get the Sword of Achilles, you can get all these different items. And then you go and battle in different scenarios like 3v3s, 5v5s. You team up with gods, you team up with different players. You could do Battle of 300 at Thermopylae. You could do like all these special events. And then what will happen, we have a game that'll be live on ofgodsandmen.io, and your NFTs directly play on that. So we're working with Scale, if you've heard of Scale Chain, to work with them to list this. They have a new, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I guess I have to. They have a new NFT marketplace that's launching on the 15th. So Scale Network is launching an NFT marketplace, and this will be one of the first projects on the Scale NFT marketplace. So we have the Twitter, we have the Discord channel. Feel free to come join, come check it out. You know, I even might like let you guys give away a free whitelisting slot or two. You know, but yeah, so you know, you get all these different characters and different pieces, and each of them have different abilities, different gods to give you values, etc. And you play it just like any other card game you would, like a Magic the Gathering or a Pokemon card game.
Sounds super cool, man. I just dropped the Twitter link down in the chat for everybody here too. So go give it a follow so you guys are locked in so you don't miss anything. That sounds really cool. Go ahead, Austin.
I got nothing, man. I'm good. I'm literally going right now to go follow the page.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Just wondering what Tim and you guys think of Gala. I think we've said this a few times. You know, I think Gala is Gala. I'm not big on speculation in video games, but you know, I don't hate them for what they're doing. You know, I definitely understand it. There might be a need for it. It's more on the Web3 side, and you know that's a niche community compared to the gaming community. Right, half the world is gaming, and about 100 million people are Web3ers. So, you know, I don't discount what they do, but it's very hard for me to get behind speculative in game stuff when it doesn't have real case utility and real value. But you know, Of Gods and Men is very similar to a Gala, right? And so it's hard to be super critical when we also have done some stuff that's similar to that. So I think there's room for all things. Do I think they're going to be the future of gaming? I don't know. I look at all these chains as publishers, right? Polygon's a publisher, Scale's a publisher, Gala's a publisher. And so I think where we're headed is a world where Gala Games could be a significant player in the publishing world in the next 3 to 4 years.
It's good stuff, man. Speaking of Polygon, I'm going to get your Polygon price prediction. So you guys want to stick around for that for a few minutes. So Philip's got a comment, I think, turned into a question here. I've not seen much. Microsoft, Xbox Store, Steam, and others with their plans to bring crypto payments into their games. Am I missing the news, or are they just behind the curve?
No, they're not bringing crypto payments, and that's why I said we're not a crypto payment company. We're a tool to bring blockchain. Our tokens don't have speculation. They don't do any of that stuff. So, you know, by creating a token that has no speculative value, it's just an in-app currency that works on blockchain and still uses the same credit card processing. We are not a cryptocurrency. You're not going to ever, I think, you know, Gabe has said you're never going to have a world where you can come into Steam and buy with Ethereum. It's just not going to happen. He thinks there's no good actors out there at this moment, is what his exact words were. He doesn't feel there's enough good actors. And everyone's a bad actor until proven otherwise. And so until that happens, you know, it's going to be very hard to get crypto payments or speculative tokens into Steam or Xbox or any of the others. But Xbox did just make a big investment into WeMade, which is a chain out of Korea that we work with directly. And I think they just invested almost $50 million to make WeMade the future chain of Microsoft. So maybe check that out, Philip.
Good stuff. Okay, so I want to address this one, Tim. You could probably provide a better answer, but I'm going to give a real short explanation of this. There's this common misperception that we see all the time. I know Austin knows about this too. There's this idea that started that you have to have 10% of your market cap should be in your liquidity. But there are different strategies here. Like, Tim, I don't know if you want to speak on this more. I don't know where this kind of thing started, but people like freak out when it's like, oh my gosh, the liquidity to market cap ratio isn't what it's supposed to be in my head.
Look at Ethereum. Look at the market cap.
Look at the ratio of Abdallah of Ethereum to its market cap, or what did I say? Liquidity to its market cap.
I think it
I
grew
don't know
up.
where this narrative started, but
It started in and it's funny, Zach. Hold on, Tim, because I'll definitely want your opinion. But it started in the news. It started in the speculative stuff, and then it became this kind of narrative. But
people
Tim,
are afraid of the rug pulls, that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, and
Tim,
and
so what
the
is
contract has to be renounced and all this,
all that crap?
Yeah.
Tim, what's your opinion of that?
I think it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It doesn't matter. You know, like I said, we haven't switched to any chains or any exchanges that GSR is representative on, and GSR will be providing all of our liquidity when we move to those. The only reason that we're on XT and Bitmart is, one, they gave us free listings, and two, it was to cultivate, streamers and developers. It's not because we're trying to create a speculative token. So for people that are trading, there's no liquidity there for them to trade. It's almost like a way to keep them from trading, right? We put in what's enough money in there to keep the people that we're paying happy and have access to the funds that they've been given. But someone also asked the other day, why is all of the money held in one wallet? It's because we're not pushing it. We're giving it to certain people, and those people are guys like you guys who are advisors to the team, and developers that we work with directly that even may have lockups, and certain investors. But there's no need for liquidity on most parts because most of them aren't selling, they're holding.
Exactly. I'm glad you explained it that way, because everybody has it kind of in their head it's supposed to be this way, right? So it's part of that educational curve, right? So that's good stuff.
But Tim, also we have other projects that we see, and we have these dialogues too, and
we hear the same narratives,
same scenario of like there's this myth out there that you've got to have this thing, and if you don't have this, if you don't have 10% of your whatever your market cap, then you're not a real. It's just like that's not true.
That's not true at all.
Business models, right?
I mean, I would, people are here saying Gala is going to be massive and the biggest, and I've heard Mythical is the biggest and Forte is the biggest. I would honestly say we're the biggest gaming blockchain company, period. Like, it's very hard to show anyone that has the same lineup as us. We have over 200 titles that are coming live over the next 6 months. We have millions of users. The 2 million that we talked about, that's simply on just our esports platform, not even in the games. We have one game going live that has over 1 million, another that has 3 million users. We have the only Unity partnership. We're partnered with like 17 different chains. We're partnered with 5,000 streamers, probably about 20 now crypto Web3 influencers. So it's hard for me to kind of look at what other people have done. We've just been stealth mode. So and there's a reason our liquidity is low. We're not looking for people to trade our token yet. It's not ready for you to trade because it's not ready for you to propose different grants to different people. This is not a world of speculation. This is a world of building games that are better. And when that gets ready, then we'll release the liquidity to the world.
Love it, man. Love it. That's good stuff. I'm glad you chimed in there because you did it much more eloquently than I did. But it kind of just pisses me off at this point. Like, I get all these questions that always come up. It's like, oh my gosh, get away from that. But I don't know. Austin, what else you got? I'm at a loss.
Those are too expensive. I don't know if Scooter knows what he's talking about because Scale offers nodes for free. Gas is completely covered. So I guess you can call me a joke, but I've been building in blockchain for a very long time. And
Scooter, I promise you, I promise you he's not. So yeah, look him up. DYOR a little bit.
You're always going to have some haters, Tim. We got haters every day too, dude.
I remember when I was like growing up, there was a funny Cat Williams, and he said, if you don't have haters, if you don't have haters, you're doing something right. Exactly. And if you don't want your haters, feel free to let them hate on me. So,
I need more of them.
Yeah.
I don't have enough of them. I don't have enough of them. Dude, I was just talking to Austin today about Cat Williams. It's so hilarious, man. His Pimp Chronicles.
Yeah, that's what that was from, the Pimp Chronicles. And he said, if you don't have haters, then you ain't doing it right. He's like, you could just sit back there and say my hair is not luxurious when you know it is.
I love Cat Williams, man. Kevin Hart's funny. I don't think he's even close to Cat, in my opinion.
But Cat got a little crazy there for a while.
He got into some trouble. But he was a little bit more wild. But all right, man, let's have some fun here at the end. Exactly, Ruth. Haters are motivators. I like that. Exactly.
What's up, Ruth? I'm glad Ruth is in the house. Good to see you, Ruth.
So, Tim, Holy God,
Polygon. Where's it going?
Where's it going?
I think. All right, give me a time frame. What are we looking at in 2023? Because I need to know that too to be able to answer this.
Well, you said the next bull run's coming, right?
Yeah.
2023.
So are we saying in the bull run?
So top of next bull run. Top of next bull run. Yep.
Polygon's gonna be about $8.
$8.
Holy crap! I gotta go buy some Polygon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
I think it's going to be very, very big. Somewhere in the fully diluted cap of about 80 billion. I think that's where Polygon's headed. Polygon has the most dApps. They have Ryan Webb. They're doing some great things. You know, Kendra and Irv, their gaming team is amazing. Janti Kunani is a genius. Sandeep is great. You know, I think the whole team is really set up to succeed, and they're doing great things in the macro economies with Starbucks and Walmart and all these big names. $8 is where I'm at with it.
Ooh. I like it. I got to address one hater real quick. Sorry. This guy, this is not anything like that messed off. Engine was one game that had an elaborate roadmap, had Real Engine 5, but obviously has not delivered yet. So this is not that at all.
Are we talking about Engine Coin? Is that what he's talking about?
Yes.
Well, you got to understand that, you know, I know all those guys at Engine, and when they went to Infinity, that was designed to be a rug pull. You know, the founders of Engine don't own any engine, which is a big problem. And so they actually offered me $1 million salary to come run Engine, and I turned it down. And really what it comes down to is those guys who founded Engine were, you know, part-time movie makers from California and had never built a video game, never been in video games. But in the height of the early, 2018, 2019 token era, right, they just created a token and called it Engine, said it was going to be for video games. And then it died. You know, a lot of people were caught up in that, and you know, they just didn't know any better. And it's not their fault that they invested in that. It's not their fault that they liked it. The idea was perfect. The idea was great, but it wasn't executed because it didn't have the right team to be executed.
Love it, man. Walking encyclopedia. Seriously. Austin, what do you got? You want to throw another one out there? I could throw a couple out there.
No, go ahead, brother. It's your show, man. It's your channel.
What do you think about Ada, Tim?
I think Cardano is great. I think, you know, it's very much a Polygon heel nipper. I don't think it has the same team. You know, we're getting to this world where marketing and BD is what's going to set us apart from everyone else. And, you know, Cardano does some great stuff in the Web3 world, but they're not really working fast enough, in my opinion. And they're not doing enough from grant perspectives to get enough dApps or enough volume on transactions. I don't see it growing massively, but I do think it's going to grow. I think it's going to be somewhere around $1.30, $1.40 at best. But, you know, I think it's going to, you know, it's going to be here for a while. It's a safe bet for a long play.
I like that. What are some of your favorites? I mean, outside, I'm guessing Bitcoin, Ethereum, you don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, right?
I think Ethereum's going to do pretty well. I think it's going to flip Bitcoin and market cap this year, or going into next year. I think BNB, you know, you can't deny that CZ is doing crazy stuff. How do you deny everything that he's gotten involved in, right? Yeah. I think BNB is going to be a big one. I think it's going to jump up somewhere in the at least double, if not close to 2.5x on where it is today. You know, Hedera, I really like Hedera. I think they're doing some great things. I think Scale is doing some great things. I don't like Solana. I think Solana's in a crash. Yeah, I think.
Why is it? Is it more about Solana's tech or lack thereof? Is it more about the funding?
There's so many things that are going on with Solana. You know, I think it's they have issues with liquidity. They have issues with their developers are leaving in droves to go to different chains. I think they just released $1 billion worth of Solana into the ecosystem, which wasn't healthy for them. They've had issues with all the DeFi stuff that they had done last year with Celsius. You know, I just don't see it being a strong value. You know, Hedera, I think, could be massive. You know, look at the market cap on that thing. It's so low. I think it could be huge. Easily a Polygon chaser. You know, if we're at 2 billion today and Polygon's at 11, you know, that to me tells me there's at least a 5x on this token right here.
All right. I'm happy so far. I got some Polygon, I got some H-bar, got some ADA.
Ruthie's saying Algo. You know, I'm a big fan of Algorand. I've hung out with Steve, the former CEO, a lot. You know, we're good. We're really close to them. I think Algo is one of those that can jump really high. You know, we're at 3 billion market cap. They're doing a lot of cool stuff with music, a lot of cool stuff in third world countries like Africa, with phones, with all sorts of stuff. I think Algo could be easily 10 to 15 billion dollar market cap. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, either 3 to 5x pretty simply by the next year.
I like the sounds of that. Big sponsor at the FIFA World Cup coming up later this month too. So
yeah, they have their own car.
Yeah.
They do a lot of stuff in sports. They have their own F1 car too. I think that's I saw it in Korea. Pretty sick.
Awesome. That's sick.
One's expensive. Yeah.
So everybody's giving us the old Shiba Inu. We talk about it all the time. I mean, this thing made a ton of millionaires. What do you think, Tim? I mean, it's polarizing. We get that. What are your thoughts, man?
You know, if you'd have asked me this last year, I'd have told you not to touch it with a 10-foot stick. I mean, I made a lot of money off of Shiba Inu just because I like to trade on personality and psychologic. So I watch Google Trends a lot, and when people are talking about stuff, I'll trade on it. And so I made you know, a bunch of money on Shiba, and then I got out. Do the fallacies of it hitting a penny? That's never going to happen. It's just not. You got to be a little bit more understanding. You know, I met with Tim, who's head of chain over at Shiba. They're trying to get into games. They're trying to do some stuff. You know, I think the Shiba army is not going away. If the bull market does come like I think it will, it'll probably get back 2 to 3x, close to where it was before. I don't see it going much over its all-time high, but I think now is a good time as any to get back into those tokens because the army's not going away. And the marketing arm on Shiba, you know, is all organic, but it's there. It's happening. And so I do think if you were to make a long play just based on that, it's worth it.
Like it, man. Yeah, the metaverse they're building out too. What is it? The third floor of that company. I mean, we'll see what the metaverse is. I mean, everybody's going to do a metaverse. I like the way you put it tonight. It might not be what we're thinking, right, when it comes to the metaverse. But speaking of that, what is going to be the metaverse that is the metaverse? Like, who's going to do it?
There is no one metaverse. That's why we're chain agnostic. The metaverse is all things encompassing. It's the connective tissue of all things. It's the cultivation of community that has a general perspective or a general thought, general ideas that are similar. So, you know, we're a metaverse if you want to get technical, just sitting here talking. So, you know, I don't think there's one chain or one thing. You know, Sandbox, I think, is going to die. I don't see that happening very long. You know, they don't have anything worth, you know, they're a copycat of Roblox. They don't really have anything, in my opinion, that's valuable. All those like early Decentralands and those guys, I just don't see them staying around very much longer. They were, in my opinion, cash grabs to get in front of this like, you know, this wave. But, you know, we'll see.
I like it, man. Great perspectives. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping
always
back
interesting,
in.
Dude.
Always learning. Yeah. Tim Tello, guys, check him out on Twitter. Follow him there. Follow everything POQ and what they're building there too. And Tim, it's always fun. We'll have to plan for the next one, man, over on Austin's channel.
We'll just go back and forth.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Maybe we'll get Ruth on one of these. I told her earlier if I couldn't make it, she'd have to do it, and she said she can't. But Ruth has some interesting perspectives, and she kind of hits that middle ground really well. So maybe we'll get Ruth on here.
We will get Ruth.
100%. Yeah, Ruth, always welcome.
Ruth's still probably in the house. So Ruth, you're getting on the next one. That's just a done deal. There you go.
Next one over on Austin's channel. Looking forward to another one. Tim, thanks, man. Any kind of parting words? Just maybe general about crypto and just kind of what everybody should be thinking about.
We're all here for it, and you know it's unfortunate what's happened in recent days with the whole FTX stuff, but. You know, it's the people that are striving for the future, striving for democratization that's going to make this world a better place. And I'm here for it. So I'm excited about it.
Yep.
Amen, brother. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button on your way out if you haven't. And if you just tuned in, you're just popping in, dial this thing back. A lot of great stuff. So dial it all the way back and listen to the our show. A lot of great knowledge. So we'll see you all in the next one. Take care.
Later, guys.